अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
वालेकुम। So I am going to start. This is the lecture number 11 in operating system, and we have already started the unit number 2. So what is the operating system synchronization? As you know, the word synchronize means it is working together. Just we have already given one of the example. Synchronization means if we are working at the same frequency. But whenever we will talk in the context of the operating system, then if there are number of processes, okay, number of processes running, or we can say executing together, then this process is called the synchronization. But here there is some sort of differentiation. There are number of resources, and number of resources that is occupied by a number of processes, and if it is working together, and there is so much coordination, so that the processes may transfer their, we can say, like the memory or the processor or the IO devices, they can toggle from processor to the memory, or memory to the IO devices at the same instant. Then it is called the synchronization among various devices, that is the IO device or the processor or the memory. So this word we use whenever the number of processes are working under the operating system. So one signal is provided by the operating system to control such type of methods, what is going on. So if there are a number of processes to coordinate with each other, so there are a number of processes and they are able to coordinate each other, then we can say synchronize. Okay, processes work with resources that must be shared between them. Whenever there are number of process work, it means number of resources that must be shared by each process. How do we go about acquiring locks to protect regions of memory? So in case of the RAM, main memory, because the operating system reside at the above part, above portion or above block of the RAM, and remaining blocks we can use to store the various programs, or we can say the processes or related data or the database. So we can store there during the processing of the particular program. Okay, so in that case, there is a need arise to use some sort of authentication, that is called the locks, to protect regions of the memory. So whenever if there are a number of processes are going on, then during the synchronization, there is a need arise to divide the main memory, and we use there a number of locks to protect that particular regions. Okay, so that the one process cannot interfere with the region of the memory with another. Okay, because there are several regions in the memory, and that will be occupied by number of processes. So here we can see that how the synchronization will take place. So there are number of processes, how they will coordinate to each other, and there are number of you can say the regions, and how we can protect those regions of the memory during the toggling of the process, okay, or changing the different resources, and how the change will take place with the help of the operating system, because the operating system will release the command, will send the signal, so that the toggle of different process will take place. Now here you can see one of this is called the critical regions. What is the critical region and how we are going to divide this? And this critical regions will also use during the synchronization. Okay, so a number of process, how will the synchronization take place? Here we can see. So a section of code. Okay, this is the section of code where the we are using the programming common to an cooperating processes, in which the process may be accessing common variables. Okay, here we will use some common variable, and how the process may access all those common variables. Then that section will call the critical section. So the critical section contains, now divided into 4 sections. First is called the entry section, and the part of the critical section is another is called the critical section. Okay, so there are 4 sections. How we are going to divide? So first is called the entry section, second is called the critical section, third is called the exit section, fourth is the remainder section. So at entry section, we can see code requesting entry into the critical section. So here the code means just you are using some commands, okay? And then command, with the help of the commands, operating system will send the request. So at the entry section, the code requesting entry into the critical section. So here your process will go in the critical section. So first it is requested by the operating system. So that is called the entry section. And what is the critical section? In this case, you can see only one process can execute at any one time. Okay. So if there are several processes running, but in the critical section, only one, we can say here, only one process can execute at any one time. Now exit section, here again we will see exit section, the end of the critical section. So here the working of that particular process is over. That is called the exit section, means you have already written the program. After compilation and execution, you will come outside, means you want to see the output. What is the corresponding output for that? Or if you are checking the working of the particular function, whether a particular portion of the program working properly or not, then first it will go to the critical section. Only one process can execute there, and after that exit take place. Okay, exit means just you are going to end that program. So last one is the remainder section. Remainder section means rest of the code after the critical section. So main important is the critical section here. After that, the last section here is called the remainder section. Remainder section, rest of the code, means you are completing your program, but before the execution, just you are going to check. So there is also the remainder section where the updation or deletion take place. So rest of the code after the critical section, that you write that section will reside below the critical section. So then how it will take place, we will see in the next section. So these are the example for the critical, for the synchronization, how the synchronization will take place. Okay, so critical section, what is the critical section? Critical section is one where only one process will execute at one time. ठीक है, तो एक टाइम में आपका एक ही प्रोसेस एक्सिक्यूट होगा. So that is called the critical section. Okay, so each process have the critical section. The critical section must enforce all 3 of the following rules. Now this is happening. I am not talking about the entry section or the exit section or the remainder section. Okay, main important part is the critical section where the main execution will take place. Now here you can see the critical section must enforce all three of the following rules. Now there are the three following rules and which will be enforced by the critical section. Here you can see mutual exclusion. It is one of the new word, and how the mutual exclusion will take place. Now you can understand this. No more than one process can execute in its critical section at one time. यानी कि एक टाइम में सिर्फ एक ही प्रोसेस एग्जीक्यूट होगा एंड वेयर इट विल टेक प्लेस इन द क्रिटिकल सेक्शन ओनली. So critical section, we can say that very important part of the operating system. Okay, so whenever you will write the program, as you will compile and as it will execute, then it will go to the critical section. If it is a multi-processor system, okay, if there are number of processes which are running together, but in the critical section, it will execute only one process at one time. If more than one process will take place, okay, will execute in the critical section, that is not possible. Otherwise, mutual exclusion will take place. Okay, so that the critical section must enforce if you will do this work in against of the rules. Okay, as it is written here, you can see one process can execute at one time, but sometimes you are thinking that is it possible that more than one process can execute? So if you will do this, or you will pressurize to the operating system, means mutual exclusion will take place. Okay, what will be the progress here? Now you can see if no one is in critical section, no process at all, okay, in the critical section it is free, then add someone wants in and some other process wants to enter inside that, then those processes not in their remainder section must be able to decide in a finite time who should go in. Now there are number of processes which are waiting, okay, and where these processes will wait at the remainder section. Okay, so there are four sections. First is entry section, then critical section, then exit section, then remainder section. Okay, so these processes will wait in the remainder section. Now the question will arise, which process will go first? Then again there is a question mark. So it will depend on the critical section and priority that will be provided by the operating system. Okay, then progress will take place. So third one is the bounded wait. All requesters must eventually be let into the critical section. Here many requests will come to the operating system. Then who will go first? Who will go in the critical section? Then this will occur under the bounded wait. So there is a wait position, okay, where many requests are coming to the operating system, but it will depend on the priority based request. Okay, so any process which have the more priority will go first in the critical section, and all remaining processes will wait in the remainder section. That is called the remainder section. Now again, these all are examples used for the synchronization. Two processes software here. Here is an example of simple piece of code containing the components required in a critical section. So this is the critical. Here you can see this is your program. Okay, do while within bracket turn in this is the condition equal to I. Then here it is written the critical section. So whatever the code will come here between this condition, that is called the critical section. Okay. Then again, this is the condition turn is equal to J. Then this is the remainder section. Again, some sort of codes will come, and then while true. This is the condition. Now you can see here. So this is called the entry section. So this is the part that is called the entry section, and this is the critical section. So some sort of more number of lines will come of the particular program for which you are writing the code. Then between these conditions, this is called the critical section. Okay. And critical section means what you are going to execute here. Maybe the important conditions or the lines of code here you will write, okay, for a particular function. Now you can check what type of input or output will get. Similarly, in this case also remainder section. So there are some functions which you can say to wait. Okay, so maybe some conditions may occur for the wait condition. So this is the remainder section. So this is one of the code here, a particular program, and how we are going to divide. So this is called the entry section. This is the critical section. This is the exit section, and this is the remainder section. Okay. So more number of lines of code will come here. So this is not only 4 or 5 lines program, but as per condition or as per requirement, this program may fulfill all those conditions, and that will act as critical section, and this is the remainder section. Okay, so how we are going to divide our program. Now what is the here various you can say the purpose here. We can check. We want to able to write more complex constructs. Okay, this is the simple one, but we can write more complex constructs, and so need a language to do so. Okay, so any language we can use. We thus define semaphores, which we assume are atomic operations. So semaphores, these are again the condition, and for a particular condition, we will use the semaphores here. So now these two conditions you can check here. Wait this while condition s is equal to s minus 1. Similarly, here again you can check for the signal. This again the condition s is equal to s plus 1. So here you are decreasing the counter, here increasing the counter. Okay, it will depend on the value. What is the value? Okay, 0, positive, negative. Now, as given here, these are not atomic as written in macro code. Okay, these are called the macro codes here. You are using the special code for that. We define these operations, however, to be atomic, protected by a hardware lock. So these are the here condition you are using for a particular signal here, and this is for the wait condition. Here you can check. So semaphores will use or will solve a particular purpose. Okay, so such type of codes we will use for a particular conditions here. Then this is called the semaphores. So we can elaborate this. What is the semaphores and other? We can say the mutual exclusion condition. Okay. So now here we can see. So there is a here protected by a hardware lock. So as the conditions may arise, so we can say we must have some hardware lock we can use for a particular wait or the signal here condition. Now this is the format for the mutual exclusion. Wait here, wait critical section, signal. Now you can see mutex. This is remainder here. So this is the format. Okay, syntax we can call. So whenever we will write the program, we use some syntax for each program code, okay, for each function. Whenever we are using the functions, then these functions have some syntax, okay. So similarly, we use the syntax for the mutual exclusion. Here you can see wait mutex, this critical section now occurring here, okay. So in this critical section, only a particular function will execute, okay. After this, you can see again the function signal, mutex, mutual exclusion, again this remainder. So this is the syntax, and syntax will be used for the mutual exclusion. So here we can see either we initialize with 1, okay, we will check the condition here for the mutual exclusion. Now semaphores can be used to force synchronization. Why do we use the semaphores? Semaphores can be used to force synchronization. Sometimes there is no synchronization among various processes, okay, or among the resources, because as the process, many process will run, then we can allocate, or we can say the operating system allocate different resources by each process. So that is called the synchronization. If instantly the different processes allocated by the different resources, then we can say it is well synchronized. Otherwise, sometimes the condition may arise that some process comes in the waiting condition, and the any one resource which have no place, okay, that is not free, and under that conditions the process will wait there, okay. It means the synchronization is not going hand in hand, okay. So semaphores can be used to force synchronization. So we use this semaphores, okay, so that will force synchronization. It means it will remove the wait condition, okay, and also it will provide the precedence, means the priority. So if the preceder does a signal at the end and at the follower does wait at beginning, for example, here we want P1 to execute before P2. So again here the priority we are giving the precedence. So what is the semaphores? So semaphores, we can say it is a sort of software signals, okay. Software signals means the macro codes or the special codes which are written by the programmer during the implementation of the operating system. So that will avoid the, here that will force synchronization, okay, or we can say avoid the wait condition, or provide the allocation to the particular resources, so that the process may occupy or allocate that particular resource, and the resource may be IO device or the processor, okay, or the memory. So semaphores can be used. Now I hope that you can understand this. What is the semaphore? So semaphores, these are the basic, we can say the microcodes used to force synchronization. Okay, so it will provide the precedence for which process will execute first. Okay, to whom we are giving the priority P1, P2 here. Now you can see statement 1 here. Okay, signal sync here means synchronization. P2 wait sync means synchronization. Statement 2. So these are the conditions. Here we want P1 to execute before P2. So this is the particular format. Here the P1 will get the priority over the P2. So it will come under the wait condition. So wait sync. Okay. And here P1 will execute first. so that we will write the code that is called the macro codes, so that we will get the priority. The process P1 will get the priority over the P2. So these are the special codes which we will use. Now here we don't want to loop on busy. Sometimes due to we use the various loop conditions and the processor may be busy. Okay. And here how we will overcome to the loop conditions. So we'll suspend. Okay. Sometimes in some, we can say some programs are executed, but due to the wrong some loop conditions, the process will come under the wait condition. Okay. So how we will suspend that? So before the suspension, here we can see now. So we'll suspend in state. What? Block on semaphore. So block on semaphore false. So this is the condition which we will use. Okay, block on semaphore is equal to false. Wake up on signal, semaphore becomes true. There may be numerous processes waiting for the semaphore, means here to force synchronization. Semaphores, I hope you can understand, it will force for the synchronization. Now here we can see keep a list of blocked process. So we have the, if there are numerous processes waiting for the semaphore will give you the time for synchronization or will force for the synchronization. So it may have the list of blocked processes. Okay. Wake up one of the blocked process, or if there are number of processes which are waiting, then wake up one of the blocked process upon getting a signal. Choice of who depends on strategy. Okay. So we are not doing manually such things because this is the very complex one, and it will be done by the operating system, because just we are talking here and studying about the operating system. So there are various conditions which are implemented during writing the operating system. So we will take care of the semaphores and how we will provide the synchronization. Okay, what is the mutual exclusion, or what is the critical section? So then we will take care of this. Now here we can see to prevent looping, we redefine the semaphore structure here. So this is the semaphore structure we will define during writing the operating system. Here type def, here structure, we will define the structure, int structure process semaphore. Here you can see linked list of here waiting on PTBL, waiting on this. So no need to go so much deep here. Just you must have the knowledge regarding the what is the semaphore, what is the mutual exclusion, and what will happen during the mutual exclusion, what is the critical section. Now again here you can see there are two codes. Just if we want to block the process, so this is the waiting signal here, as dot value -1. So this is the codes here we are writing for the to define the semaphore. Here just we are blocking this, and in this case we want to remove a process from this list. Okay, we have the waiting list, or we can also wake up the process here. Just there are two codes you can see, blocked and the wake up process. Okay, so this is the blocked one, and in for the blocked one, just we are going, either we want to remove the process from the list, or we can also wake up one of the process which are waiting in the critical section. So it's critical that these be atomic in uniprocessor. So in case of the uniprocessor, if the system is the multiprocessor, then such type problem will not come. In case of the uniprocessor, so only one process will go in the critical section at one time and execute. Okay, so we can disable interrupts, but in multiprocessor, other mechanism for atomicity are needed. So in case of the multiprocessor system, we will use other mechanism. Okay, but in case of the here uniprocessor system, we can disable interrupts. Okay, now again you can see deadlocks. What is the deadlock? So deadlock, if there are number of processes, okay, and as they will go for the execution, then first the process will check which resource is free, because for the execution it will go first to the processor from memory. Memory means here from the RAM, random access memory. It will go first to the processor. Okay. But in case of the multi-programming system, or we can say if it is the multitasking, where you are going to execute a number of programs at one time, then if it is a uniprocessor system, then problem may come. Okay. But in case of the multiprocessor systems, if again there are number of processes which are going for the execution in the processor, then how the operating system will manage, where the first process will be occupied by the multiprocessor system. If there are several processors, then which process will go first to which processor. Okay. And same criteria we will apply for the IO device. After execution, which process will go first to the IO device, or we can say which process will go first to the memory. So in the this case also the deadlock may occur. So if there are several processes which will go for the execution, then deadlock may occur. Okay. Try to get same multiple resources at same time. Okay. So every, or we can say each process will think to occupy the multiple resources at the same time. Then the problem may come. Now here you can see P1, P2, there are two processes, okay, executing at the same time. Then here wait signal, here again it will wait in the queue. Again it will, here you can see the signal, again here you can see signal in the queue here. Similarly, this is the waiting in the queue, and again it will release the signal. So these are the codes which we are using for the P1, and this is the programming, or we can say the syntax which we will use during writing the operating system, not in the normal programming, but whenever we are writing the operating system, then how we will handle the various processes to execute. Okay. And this execution will be done by the operating system, or we can say managed by the operating system. So here how we will not we can say myself or the other users, how the operating system will avoid the deadlock. Okay. How can this be fixed, the deadlock? Now again some interesting problem we can see, the reader or writer's problem. This is the same as the producer. No need to write the here the roll number. Just I will copy and paste your attendance. No need to write it. This is the same as the producer or consumer problem, except we now can have many concurrent readers and one exclusive writer. Okay, so here this is not so much we can say important for the purpose of the synchronization. Just we have already discussed a few points here. Now this is again, you can leave this, no need to. Now here we can see high level synchronization construct that allows the safe sharing of an abstract data type among concurrent process. So this is called the high level synchronization. Okay, high level synchronization if the problem is complex. Okay, then for the safe sharing of an abstract data type among concurrent process. If there are number of processes which are running concurrently, means at the same instant, okay, executed by the processor at the same time, or allocated by a number of resources at the same instant. So this will occur when there are multiple processes which are executing. So this is called the high level synchronization. Okay, if there are number of processes that are running concurrently, then also there are number of, we can say, the resources allocation and release will go hand in hand. Then this type of management is called the high level synchronization. So I think you can understand the word. What is the synchronization? Synchronization means if there are a number of processes which are running together, then how those processes will occupy the different resources at the same time, and what is going hand in hand in the critical section. Okay, in the critical section is that section in which only one process will execute at one time. Just remember this. And sometimes if the processes which are executing and there is a lack of synchronization, then the mutual exclusion will give you the synchronization, will force to the process for the synchronization, so that any resource may get free easily by the pressure or by the particular signal of the operating system. Now here there are number of conditions may occur during the, if there are various processes which are going on, then how we will decide about the different operation which will resume or suspend the process. Okay, so this also comes under the synchronization. Now this is the schematic view of a monitor, how the we will share the data, and there are number of operations, and this is the entry queue, and this will also come under the synchronization. Here we can see in this diagram. So this is called the entry queue, number of processes. Okay, here the shared data. Now you can see different operations which take place during the execution of the process. So this is the initialization of code. Now you can see here, this is the entry queue. So how we are using the synchronization for the process, then we can check here in this diagram. Now this is again the coding for the monitor, how it will take place. Leave this. Now Windows XP synchronization, you can see here. Just I am first taking your attendance because only 1 minute left here. That is the important part of this lecture also. So Windows XP synchronization here, because again during using the operating system Windows XP, earlier we have already used Windows XP operating system, then it also have uses interrupt mask to protect access to global resources on uniprocessor system. So earlier we were using the uniprocessor systems. Okay, during use of the Windows XP, then how it will provide the synchronization. It provides dispatcher objects which may act as either mutex or semaphores. So we use the mutual exclusion or the semaphore. Okay, so we will continue along with this lecture. Any problem? Please tell me. Only few seconds are left to close down this Zoom. Hopefully we will continue in this manner. Okay.